Hello again everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are catching up with Mr. Uthermal, otherwise known in bar as Cram, and seeing how he's getting on. Currently OS rank of 25 in the small team game here, and not only that, but being a 2v2 he has a teammate, Mr. Sakar? Just going to call him Sir, just to make things easier. And their opponent today will be Zamm. OS of 22 here. And playing Armada, going bots. And on Zamm's team is Papalino. OS of red, playing Cortex, and going bot lab. OS of 24. Now, being that I'm British, I'm terrible at saying people's names, so feel free to, explain to me how to say these people's names in the comments if I've not done it right. Now, zoom in on out. Let's have a look at the map. So, first things first, actually, before we look at the map, just a quick update. There was some comments recently on the videos about they wanted the icons to be bigger but appear more when they're zoomed out. So I have changed that a bit. Let me know in the comments what you think about the current setting though, as want to get this looking good for you guys. And yeah, so some early harass here though coming from Uthermal. Looks like he's going to try and get a metal extractor here with this early tick. Unfortunately, it does not manage to do that. Looking at the map, this map is called Gecko Island. It is a map we've seen fairly recently, played as a 1v1 map, but can be played 2v2 as you see here, or also 3v3 with a starting position in the middle here. Now, Uthermal being the only one here, actually make that wrong. Uthermal and Sir here, or Sir, both going for tidals here. Tidal being a 25 tidal speed is actually very efficient use of power generation on this map. The only thing to bear in mind is when we select tidal here, requires 90 metal to build, as opposed to 37 for wind, but it is cheaper than obviously going solar. Wind is also not that bad here, so choosing wind is not a negative. Another thing of note here is with solars, you can reclaim these at a later date and be a bit of a metal bank for you. Now, other things of note, you can see there's high grounds on either side in multiple positions here on the map. This is going to block radar coverage. Not only that, but all of these little tiny hill bits are going to cause radars to be somewhat inefficient. Going to create a lot of blind spots. So that's just something to bear in mind. As we have a bit of an overview here. Interestingly enough, Papalino has decided he's going to use his comm to just focus on energy production here, rather than either assist in his factory or to expand. If he desperately needs power, that might be a good idea. It's also the only unit he has that is able to build the naval energy generators. However, that does limit his build power somewhat, and also limits his control. If you noticed here, the Uthermal's pushed to the halfway mark. Zamm is almost at the halfway mark. Sir is a little far behind, but Papalino is not really expanded anywhere outside of his initial start, with only a few grunts right up here at the front. So that's not great. Down here, investing quite a lot in laser towers this far back, but he does have a very good resbot far forward, so he's going to be able to get all that reclaim pretty well. This map also has a few clumps of Reclaim laying about. It's not much, it's 175, so that's going to cover you for the cost of, you know, a single solar. There's 350 metal right there, which is quite a lot of metal to be had. But if we can switch this to more of a team, it is split to teams here. So although it's only showing red and blue, just for those that are watching, this is actually top team versus bottom team, even if it's only just showing one set of colors. So currently, according to this at least, metal income is currently in favor of the red and yellow team right now. Metal produced, though, is only just slightly on Uthermal's side here. Uthermal with a little bit of a mistake there, how he's lined up his pawns, meaning only a single one of them is going to be able to fight at a single time. Pawns are a lot better now than they used to be. Being able to deal with grunts if they get really up close, which they are now able to do because of the speed they have been given. They are able to close down on grunts quite efficiently. Zamm could really do with a radar up on this hill, though. Would help drastically kind of give vision of units approaching him. Don't know if anyone's noticed this force here either coming in. Looks like Zamm's only just noticed. Not quick enough, as Papalino is going to have to deal with that as well. But an issue for Papalino is these Centurions coming down on the right hand side. That single LLT and 2 grunts has been enough, but this force is now going to get surrounded, and Uthermal's going to lose this group of pawns here and not really accomplish anything with them, unfortunately. And there goes that last one. Now, we can see Uthermal has transitioned over to Centurions. Perfect unit to counter grunts. However, thugs have been come out from Papalino now. And they will do a decent job versus Centurions. Centurions are very expensive units. And we can see here, Centurion 270 metal to 3,100 energy, as opposed to basically half the cost for maces. So it's quite a lot to be losing out on. Papalino still also a bit, you know, not really expanded out at all. And probably over-invested into Centurions here, Uthermal. They are very good if your opponent is just sticking to grunts, and he wasn't to know that his opponent has basically switched out from grunts already. But at this point in the game, you know, your opponent is going to be switching out to something a bit heavier. And we can see, actually, Sir over here has just basically got thugs, tanks, everything under the sun. And these grunts will probably not be able to inflict too much damage now with how this map is laid out currently. It's some part of this is tempting to just self-destruct them so your opponent doesn't get them. But at the same time, you kind of want to see if you can get any more damage or at least get some vision. Unfortunate for Uthermal here, an extra metal extractor built, not doing anything. And also missing this one. Lace Tower will not get killed, and that Reclaim will now go entirely to Mr. Uthermal. And Uthermal actually transitioned over to vehicles here, as well as his teammate has also transitioned over to vehicles. Lots of wins coming out from that player. Zamm may start struggling here, but Zamm being very efficient with his use of high grounds here for his maces. This is going to give him extended range, being able to hold that high ground versus the tanks, the brutes that are trying to fight him, and the thugs. not to be overestimated, and you also see Uthermal attempting to do the same thing here, but unfortunately with Centurions, it only affects plasma-based units, so that won't make any difference at all. Zamm pushing in here against Sir. Kind of wanting to bait him into the high ground. And unfortunately, Sir is not seeming to take the bait. So, quickly looking at the old stats here, army value, the blue team is ahead, substantially actually. Energy produced, red team is ahead. Metal produced, red team is also ahead there. So when it comes to economy, Uthermal's team is currently in the lead, but when it comes to army and damage, it is advantage Papolinon and Zamm, sorry. Question is getting the reclaim, right? You want to make sure you're getting that reclaim. And there's a very large amount of resbots here keeping these forces up and running. And that is a bit of micro that, you know, Sir doesn't have. And this will help Zamm win in a less advantageous unit numbers here. He is starting to lose this position. And now slowly producing units again. So these, these spectators saying about solars. Yes, solars aren't great, but if you're got a lot of metal and you can't use it, you know, you can effectively use these to kind of bank some metal for later on, like maybe a Tech 2 transition. Zamm's commander in a very, very dangerous position here. Now, with this being a 2v2, if Zamm's comm dies, it's not the end of the game. But that is a significant amount of metal to just drop somewhere. And there are a bunch of resbots ready and able nearby. The question is, are they going to be able to actually be able to do anything, as Zamm is getting double teamed right now by Uthermal and Sakura. These maces here are just getting completely surrounded. And that is correct. Very nice teamwork here from Cram and Sir, Uthermal and Sir. And they are actually trying to resurrect. And this hill is going to be very important now. 6k metal. That is basically where both players are going to be pushing their forces. They need to get this res pile. We actually see Pap here. Papal has transitioned to Tech 2 and Navy. Meanwhile, as we quickly look over the bases, no change from Uthermal. No change there either. Some sneaky resurrections here from Zamm, just trying to get more metal. Unfortunately, now the high ground advantage has gone to Sir. The mistake here, though, from Sir trying to res that commander. Surprising that he's not going for a reclaim on it and just eating the metal up as quick as possible. But Papolino definitely needs to get that Tech 2 in here quickly, otherwise his teammate's base is not going to be much longer for this world. And you see all of the forces being pushed over to that reclaim field. Now there are plenty of resbots. And they are just resurrecting that commander. Very interesting. But here come the Fiends. Not really as effective as you would hope. maybe a bit of a Sheldon Ball might have been a bit more efficient here than some Fiends. If the Fiends were used smartly and used by self-destruct, then it may make a significant difference, but unfortunately they've not been used in that manner. This Resball Blob has kind of just been left on its own here, which is surprising. They have not noticed it at all. It looks like Sir might have just noticed it. And that Commander Wreck actually has been resurrected. And now the onslaught onto Zamm's base begins. Solar panels here, now becoming a bit of a wall. They gotta die very quickly. Zamm with nothing left to be able to defend. But coming in from behind. Papolino with a bunch of Fiends. Will this be able to turn the tide? Great self-destructs there from the Fiends, taking out a huge swathe of bots. Unfortunately, not enough to deal with all of the forces in the corner, and now there's but a little bit of time left until Papolino's base is also destroyed. Damage being done by this single destroyer here. Just out of range long enough so that forces can't fight back. Surprisingly, he's not going for the titles first. Meanwhile, a Tech 2 transition is started from Sir. But the army value is so much on the blue team's side right now. Look at it. 180% advantage. Metal produced and energy produced is still very much on Papolino's side, so he does kind of have the economy advantage somehow right now, purely because of going Tech 2 so early. The question is he able to effectively put that into play? There's a lot of reclaim to be had here. Now, what could also be put into play here, which we're not seeing right away, is Papolino could be giving some of his units to his teammate to micro instead of him. Like this force on the left here, that could be given to Zamm here to try and micro instead of having him control it all. We're still only seeing Fiends come out. This will only last for a little while they, well, until they become completely inefficient. This oppressor over here is just still not doing anything. Like slowly damaging that factory, but not enough to make a big impact. I would struggle to see Red Team come back from this right now. They do have a very strong economy, but when it comes to army, like, these Fiends just aren't able to get close. And if you can get some very strong, like, self-destructs on the Fiends, then maybe you might be able to turn it around, but they need to get the army destroyed and then also get the reclaim. If they don't get that, then it's pretty much over for them right now. Not only that, but this single pawn is just gonna finish Zamm again. And there goes the Tech 2 construction bot as well. The Papolinos. Zamm making very accurate comments here. Some attempted very strong self-destructs there. Unfortunately, not really getting everything. Commander in a bit of a dangerous position here for Uthermal, though. And there goes Uthermal's commander, or at least one of the Uthermal commanders. He did have two after all. What have we got here? See, this Tech 2 shipyard, probably a bit of a waste here from Papalino. I know what he's attempting. He's attempted to try and get some damage done over here by building something that can do that. But he's building 6 advanced construction subs. Why? You need units. Just build one. And then, like, build a cruiser or something. Just to harass the sides. You don't need 6 construction ships. Also, you've got another oppressor back here. Like, just send that up as well if you've sent one. That is a very good point, as this person says. If you can res, you can turn it around. And he is eating everything here. It's a lot of metal. 17,000 metal on this left side of his base. 4.3 here. We can see both players are basically ecoing up on this north side now. Tech 2 being built by Uthermal. And as correct, finally, this oppressor has finally killed that bot lab. And now it's got nothing left to do. What is his plan? Is he still just building? He is. Is he going for, what's he building with these? Advanced fusion? Naval energy converters. I mean, guess, but you're not overflowing right now. And just keeping an eye on the energy here, you can see that even with all those energy converters aren't really going to do much because his energy is about to plummet into the ground. Zamm making an interesting point here. If you did resurrect all of this force, it may make a substantial turnaround. And you can see Zamm now able to get a little bit back in the fight. With some units being gifted to him, he's able to, you know, change the tide a little bit. But these welders are going to be a little bit difficult to deal with. Welders with just no extra support, though. You can see that Uthermal does not have the power to effectively fire these welders, as he keeps hitting 0 energy. And fights going on all over the place. It does look like the red team's trying to turn the fight around here and put a bit of pressure on their opponent. And it is working, as these fiends are managing to make it through locations. Get a bit of damage done in different spots here. Just try and poke some holes. And you can see actually Uthermal desperately having to run all of his welders back now because he's worried about these fiends coming in from Zamm. Still just not enough energy to fire these guys properly. Yeah, I don't know how much those ships are actually going to accomplish in the end. Able to get some good harass back though now. And it is still kind of... It's funny, when you look at the map, and you like draw the line like that, and you say blue-green has all of this, red and yellow has this, you would not think the stats would line up in that favor at all, would you? But yeah, right now, economy advantage is still Papalino. Papalino has put so much into his economy. You can see here already now, naval fusions, advanced converters, he's built a missile ship, he's been continuing to build these tidal generators. And He is starting to make some headway against his opponent. Look at all this harass he's actually able to do now. It's a shame that Zamm has not been given a bot or something to try and rebuild or something along those lines. Zamm pretty much useless at the moment. But here we go. Papolino, for the first time, entering Uthermal's base. Self-destruct, very wise, making your opponent not be able to grab anything. But this is also giving a little bit of vision here to these tanks, boats rather. And when that missile ship gets built, that's going to cause a lot of problems for Uthermal. Well, at least until he builds like a sniper bot or something. But just look how much of the map is now back in Papolino's favor. Back at the halfway line. Although he doesn't have control of the metal points on that map, he has forced his opponent right back. And that's good. That's given him a bit of breathing room. More welders are on the way, though. You can see how quickly these resbots are attempting at resurrecting stuff. Surprisingly well, just purely from the massive amount of energy he's getting from his teammate. As the welders are getting surrounded again. Uthermal taking a lot of flanking damage there. Well, briefly at least, as all of that stuff gets annihilated. Looks like he's managed to solve his energy issues. Fiends are trying to get through, but welders do a pretty efficient job at dealing with fiends. They are quite clunky and slow though, so getting something that deals with them, again, like maybe some Sheldons, to deal with them at longer range, might be a good call here instead of just continuously pumping out a single unit. Oh, surprisingly, we actually see a transition over to... Well, no, not a full transition. He's just built a few sumos. Probably just the tank, a little bit of damage. Got this one mace here, managing to take out 5 tidal gens. And we run into a little bit of an issue here that the North team, green and blue team, have been so heavily focused on attack that they haven't scaled up their economy, whereas red has been constantly scaling up his economy, and this is where that scale is now starting to completely outramp the production of Uthermal. These welders getting surrounded again. And that huge amount of flanking damage did a lot of damage to them. But with only Tech 1 tanks left, it is still going to be enough to kill them. All of these units are completely resurrected units, bear in mind. And you see Zamm straight away there with the resbots, ready to get those units back up and running for the red team. And yeah, this is not looking good. Not only that, but a very, very well played Papolino flank maneuver here. And Uthermal with no energy, unable to use D-gun at this point. Or manages to get a single D-gun off. But look at that damage. Windmills galore going up. Fiend's doing an amazing job at just completely destroying all of these wins. And Uthermal, with that, actually calling a GG, which, to be fair, he has lost his entire economy. And very well played. Papolino and Zamm very close to losing the game, but the sheer economy push of Papolino has just managed to pull him back. And a risky move, investing so much into economy, but it paid off. Unfortunately, Uthermal loses this one, but a lot of improvement since we last saw him play against Flaka. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.